Hey guys, it has been forever. I don't even know the last time I sat down to do a video. Life has been crazy. I've been working overtime at work. It has just been a thing, just one thing after the other. So here I am. I'm ready to sit down and play in makeup, and I'm excited. So today I wanted to do a full face of drugstore, and not only that, I wanted to do an easy, like user-friendly version of drugstore makeup. So hopefully that's something you guys would enjoy. Um, it, I think that's something interesting. I hope you do too. I hope you guys agree. So with that said, let's just dive right in. Let's not take too much time rambling like I normally do. So for eyeshadow at the drugstore, like truly drugstore, like I'm thinking like Walmart, okay? That's where my brain goes to when I think drugstore. The eyeshadow palettes are so limited. I'm not a huge fan of Milani eyeshadows. If you've been around a little bit and seen any of my videos, you probably know this. Milani is just not that great, in my opinion. Wet n Wild is, it's okay. They're a hit and miss kind of brand. It's not great, but even at an affordable price, like I wouldn't tell you to go spend your money on them. NYX is too overpriced. If you're going to spend the amount you were going to spend on a NYX palette, just go ahead and buy you something high end that is more affordable. Trying to think, like, I've never, like the staple drugstore brands of Maybelline, CoverGirl, L'Oreal, I don't really like their eyeshadows. I've never found one that I'm just loving. So one that I can think of that I do really like and enjoy and that I can recommend is e.l.f. And I like their bite-sized eyeshadows. These are two of my favorites because they're neutral. These are just kind of like those staple colors I think everybody can get use out of. So that's why I wanted to mention these two specifically. They have a ton of different shades. This top one is Cream and Sugar, and this one is Pumpkin Pie. So either of these I think are a great addition to a makeup collection or a starter kit, if you will. This one necessarily probably, this one is probably the one. If you're going to get one, this one. But both of these I really like. And the reason I recommend both is because you get some warmer tones here, a little bit of a more neutral tone here, and this one has a little bit of a lighter shade in there. So they are just a quad, so you only get 4. They used to be $3, but I don't know how much they are. It's been a while since I purchased these, so I don't know how much they are now. I do have a few different quads, but I just wanted to show you these two. Oh, I almost forgot about this one. This one's a good one too. It's kind of neutral. This one is the Truffles palette. So let me just go ahead and throw that one in there. Truffles is good too. So for today, I'm thinking affordable and drugstore, and I'm thinking Ulta now is kind of where I'm going. And their more affordable section has ColourPop. And ColourPop, if you're at Ulta, if you have access to Ulta, if you have online, if you have anything and you can get an Ulta or order, if you can order from Ulta, if I can even get my thoughts together, ColourPop is the way to go, in my opinion. These are pretty quality shadows for a very affordable price. They have kind of been inching up their prices, so I mean, you have to be selective on what you do purchase. But this is the little 9-pan palette, and I've had this one for a little bit. This is the Going Coconuts palette, so you can kind of tell this is more of like a neutral color story. I love it just because it's neutral. The reason I'm going neutral is because I just want you to have something for every day. That's why I say stay neutral. So this is what I'm going to work out of today, the Going Coconuts, and I'm going to do something super simple. Can you tell how much I love this palette though? I mean, like a lot of my eyeshadow palettes, you can't tell that I've loved on them this much. This one I truly love. So I just want to do something really simple with this. So let's get to it, shall we? So if you want to forego the eyeshadow altogether, go for it. I'm totally with you there. Just do it. Just go forgo the eyeshadow. I don't think it's a necessity in everyone's kit. Now, me personally, I have to have eyeshadow. And if you've seen my eyeshadow collection, you understand how much I have to have the eyeshadow. but not everybody does, and I get it. So forgo it if you don't feel like it's necessary for you. Let me just throw this in there really, really quick. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but Believe Beauty sold at Dollar General. If you have a Dollar General close to you, go get you some Believe Beauty. It is amazing, and I can't say enough good things about it. Like, it's chef's kiss. Like, the most unbelievable eyeshadow primer. Did I say eyeshadow primer? The most unbelievable eyeshadow primer there is from Believe Beauty. I can't say enough good things about it. So you don't have to have the most expensive brushes. You don't have to have the best of the best. Like, just use what's in your collection. Just make it work, okay? I'm going to use one brush. I'm not even going to tell you what kind of brush it is or what brand it's from or any of that. I'm just going to grab one, really. So I'm just getting like a big fluffy brush, okay? And so if you've got some brushes in your collection, get you a big fluffy brush. Tools are really important, but I don't want, if you're a new beginner to makeup, I don't want you to think, oh my gosh, I have to go spend all this money. You don't. Use what you've got, learn, and as you learn, as you develop your skill, as you have the money, invest in it, but don't go out, go crazy, because I've been there, done that. Go back, watch my videos. I just dove in and bought too much, and yeah, here we are. But needless to say, you don't have to spend a lot of money, but tools can make a difference. I will just go ahead and say that. So anyway, I'm just using like a fluffy brush, fluffy blending brush. I like a big one. Usually if you have hooded eyes, you want to stay smaller, but I like this big blending brush, and I'll just kind of demonstrate why. So I'm going to kind of stay a little bit cooler today, so I'm going to stay with this shade here, which is called Coolata. So I'm dipping in. There's going to be kick up with, did you see that? There's going to be kick up with ColourPop shadows. That's just kind of par for the course. So this, with a big fluffy brush, I can blend this out quicker and I get a more diffused look. If I'm not using a very concentrated color, a big brush. So with my eye shape, I'm having to kind of build my crease. That's something I always have to do because I have hooded eyes. Can you tell how that how the hood sits on my mobile lid? This is the mobile lid and this is the hood, and so it's setting on the mobile lid and taking up some real estate there. So I'm kind of building the depth of a crease, and how I do that is I go just a bit above the actual crease of my eye and start with that color, and the depth, the deepest part of the shade is what I want in the faux crease. Okay, so that's where you concentrate the color, is where you want your crease to be. So that's where I'm, like my crease would normally be like right here. Do you see that? But I'm taking it up just a bit. So I'm moving it from here, which, let's see if I have anything here. I'll use a smaller brush. I'm moving my crease from right about here, and I'm lifting it up just a few millimeters to here. That way I'm giving myself a little bit more depth and dimension to my eye. Can you tell the difference? So this is just kind of giving that illusion. So with a brush like this, you can like kind of blow things out faster. It's just an easy process. Okay, so I got that laid down. We're going to use 3 shades and that's it. So normally I would take like a deep matte and put in this outer corner, but today I'm going to switch it up a little bit. And this is just because if you're going to put eyeshadow on, you're probably going someplace, so you want it to look nice. So that's why I'm switching it up. So I'm going to put De Coco right here, this bottom shade. I'm going to take, and it's going to be just a little bit more of a dense brush. I'll show it to you though. So it's kind of a little fluffy, but it's also kind of squished and flat. So it's a little bit more dense. Like this one is super fluffy, like super mobile, and it moves. And this one's I had it upside down. This one's a little bit more dense, and it does move, but it's not as fluffy. Can you see the difference there? I'm trying to hold it together, and it's storming outside, so if you hear that, I apologize. But that's the difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my finger, or not my finger, my brush into that middle one, and I'm just putting that in my outer corner. And all I have to do is kind of fill in like this little corner of my eye. It looks kind of like a C shape. And so I just work on filling that in. And also, I probably should mention that I dropped this once and my colors came out, so this could be different. I forgot about that. Don't worry about out here. Don't worry about what's falling on your face. That's why I start with eyeshadow first. Okay, so just put that in the outer corner. That's just kind of like grounding the look and giving me just a tiny bit of depth out there. Hear the thunder? Sorry about that. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take this middle shade here, which is called Cocoa Crush. This is one of their Super Shock formulas. So it's like kind of a different feel to the finger. I use my finger with this and I just start pressing that on the rest of my mobile lid. So I don't want to go up on the crease too much. I just want to kind of connect the crease to the mobile lid a little bit. And if you're in a pinch and you forgot all your brushes, like I did one weekend, then just throw this shade on your lid with your finger and go. Sometimes we make makeup too hard, and I've realized that I do it myself. I make it too complicated, too hard, and it just needs to be easy and fun and something everybody can do. Then I'm going back with that fluffy brush, if I can talk, which most of the time I can't. And I'm just kind of blending the edges so slightly. I'm not trying to get too much onto those shimmer shades. I'm just blending edges, and I'm not even taking any more of any shades. I'm just blending. Whatever's on there is what's going. Get you some cheap makeup wipes, okay? These came from the Walmart. And I get these because I like them. They're the oil-free Pink Grapefruit Equate Beauty. And I always have one when I'm doing my makeup because it's a necessity. I'm gonna make a mess. This has been proven to be fact. So I'm just gonna clean up my mess, basically. So have you ever seen those people put on their eyeshadow and they have this really sharp line out here? We're going to create it. So I do have a little bit of a nail, so I can do this easy, but you don't have to have a nail to do it. Just kind of make that line. Okay, so it's just a very simple, easy eye look. You don't have to look like you've got a bunch of eyeshadow on, but it's still very beautiful. So that's what we're doing with the eyeshadow. If you want to do your eyeliner before you finish the rest of your eye look, if you're going to use liquid eyeliner, I suggest doing it now just because it's easier. I don't mean to talk about ColourPop the whole video, but ColourPop liquid liner in the shade Grande is probably my favorite liquid liner just because I don't like a huge harsh black line, and I like a deep brown line. And I'm shaking this because it's drying up on me and I need a new one. Okay, so I'm going to try to line this really quick. And if you're new at winged liner, don't do a huge wing. Just do a small baby wing. I didn't take it all the way into the corner because then you can get bleeding. So I just take it about like halfway in-ish and just kind of fade it in. Now, if I could teach you how to draw a perfect wing every time, I would. I don't know how to do that, and if they teach a class on it, please let me know because I would love to go to it. It's impossible. So you have to practice and just work at it, and my wings are never perfect. But that's also a reason we keep this so we can clean it up. We'll clean up the edges of it, bake it till we make it. All right, so I'm going to leave the eyes alone for now, and we'll come back to them in a second. I'm going to focus on complexion. So I have larger pores, And I usually like a mattifying primer as well. However, it's not always a choice to have a mattifying primer. And sometimes if you're going to wear a more matte foundation, you don't necessarily need a matte primer. So that'll just suck everything out of your skin and it'll be so dry. So one of my favorite primers from the drugstore is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. This is what it looks like. I've used quite a bit. So I just take a little bit out. I can scrape my nail across it. You don't have to scrape your nail across it. You can just rub your finger into it. Then I just focus this on the T-zone and push it into the pores. And another good e.l.f. primer that I love is this Power Grip Primer. This is something new they just came out with not long ago. And it is a, whoops, it's a gripping primer, so it's a little bit runny and it's a little sticky too. But I just put this kind of on the perimeter of the face. And this can help with pores as well. I don't feel like it's as good as the Poreless Putty. I'm going to put a little on my nose as well because that's where I lose my foundation first. Okay. Put that there. And after you put your primer on, just let it set for just like 30 seconds to a minute. That's going to help when you apply your foundation. So just let it set for a few seconds. While that's setting, let me tell you about a good sponge from the drugstore. These I used to use all the time and I still like them very, very much. This is the Real Techniques blending sponge. And you're like, a sponge is a sponge, right? That's probably what you're thinking. And yeah, that's probably true for just about anybody. But to me, I have a preference because I like them if they are very small in their pores. And this one does just that. It doesn't have large pores to soak up my product because I'm paying money for that product and I want to keep it, you know, I want to keep as much on my face as I can and not in the sponge. And so that's what I like about these Real Techniques sponges is they don't soak up a ton of my product. Sponges are going to soak it up a little bit, but this helps with that. So I like this and it's great from the drugstore. It's very, very affordable. If you want to talk some of my favorite drugstore foundations, NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop is one. The Wet n Wild Photo Focus is another. L'Oreal Infallible, that's probably one of the absolute best for just about anybody, the L'Oreal Infallible. The other two are more kind of like for matte complexions. Let's see. What else is there? The Milani Conceal and Perfect is really good. There's a lot of good ones at the drugstore. There really are. There's a lot of really great foundations. Those are just a few I'm thinking of off the top of my head. Now, my face feels a bit tacky, and that's what I want because this is a gripping primer. That's what I'm wanting. I picked this up the other day. I want to try it out again. See if I can get this before the thunder comes again. This is something they've reformulated. This is the Maybelline 30 Hour Super Stay Activewear. They used to just have the regular Super Stay, and I actually have a bottle over there. It's a little bit older, and I'm a little afraid to use it. But this used to be, the regular Super Stay used to be one of my favorites. So I went ahead and picked this up because I wanted to try it. I picked up the shade Warm Nude. It might be a little bit warm on me, but we will see. So you get a pump with this one, which is something I really love when you get a foundation with a pump. And what I like to do is either squirt it on the back of my hand and dip into it, or I'll just squirt it on the sponge. Okay, it looks a bit moussey. I can't remember what the other looked like. So I just dot it in 5 areas. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on each cheek. That way I have plenty to spread out over my face. This is going to be a bit dark, but that'll be okay. We'll make it work. So I put about 2 pumps on here. It did soak up a little bit. I'm going to put just a little bit, like maybe half. I might have put just a little too much on there. I need a little bit more on my forehead, and I'm just going to kind of build it too. It had good coverage. I just wanted to use what I squirted out. So it's taking me just a minute to kind of get used to this because I've not had a full coverage foundation on in a minute. I've been wearing a lot of skin tints and a lot of like medium coverage foundation. So this is a bit different than my norm. And I don't wear makeup every day anymore. So this is a little different. If you get a shade that's too dark for you, let me give you some tips on that. Blend it down your neck for sure. Don't leave yourself with a makeup line. It's looking really good and really smooth. It's just, it's weird for me to see myself in a full coverage foundation because I've not seen it in so long. So while I was at it, I went ahead and picked this up. However, if I'm recommending something to you that I've already tried, I would recommend the Milani Conceal and Perfect concealer. That's one of my favorites. The Flower Beauty Light Illusion concealer is really great. I love, what else? Wet n Wild Incognito. That's another great drugstore concealer. If I think of any more, I'll list them. Maybelline Age Rewind. That's another great one. Elf Camo Concealer. The hydrating one's my favorite. Yeah, that's all I can think of right now. But I'm going to try this one. I've heard great things about it. It's the Maybelline Super Stay Activewear. So I went ahead and I got the shade 11 in this. So this is the doe foot on it. It's a little different. So let's see. I don't need a ton of coverage because I do have that full coverage foundation. Don't take your foundation all the way up under your eyes, by the way. So then I'm going to, like, I took this flat side to do my foundation, and then I'm going to take this pointy side to do my concealer with. And I'm brightening down the center of my face because my concealers, or because my foundation is a little deep for me. I'm not quite sure how I feel about the concealer, to be quite honest. I want to build it just a bit. It dries really fast, so be careful of that. Don't let it set too long. So if you're into cream bronzing, I can recommend that, but I'm trying to keep it simple. So I'm not going to do cream products today. I'm just going to do powder, because usually if you're looking for simple, you're looking for powder. Something else I picked up, and I picked this up like a couple weeks ago now, and I've just not used it because I've not had time to sit down. But I picked up the ColourPop Pretty Fresh pressed face powder, and I also got the Elf Camo powder foundation. So I got both of these. However, I usually like a loose setting powder. One of the best ones from the drugstore is the Elf Halo Glow, and then also probably the best in my opinion is the Maybelline Fit Me powder. It's very finely milled. I like the shade Fair for myself because it's like it brightens me up a bit. So that's what I would recommend as far as setting powder. However, I'm going to try these out today. Some people like a pressed powder. I feel like that's kind of trendy right now. So I'm going to try actually both of these. So one, the ColourPop Pretty Fresh, I'm going to use under my eyes. Here's what it looks like, a little compact. So you get this little, let me not blind you. You get this little sponge with it. I'm not going to use that sponge. I've not had the best of experience with those sponges. So when I go to powder my under eyes, I like to make sure that I've gotten all the creases out the best I can. If I didn't say it already, I got the shade Fair 4. So there's what it looks like. So I'm just dipping in, and then I'm going to set my under eye. So I just set the places I put concealer with this one. Then I'm going to take the Elf Camo Powder Foundation, which I wouldn't use just a powder foundation alone. I've found I just don't like that myself. So I went ahead and grabbed the shade 210N. You get a little sponge on the bottom, and then the product is in the top, and the mirror in there. And I'm just going to take a big fluffy brush, and I'm going to set the rest of my face. Now let me stress, you do not have to have 2 powders to set your face with. You can have one pressed powder. Oh, it's making me darker. You guys see that? You can just have one powder, or you can one pressed powder, or one loose powder. You don't have to have 2 powders. This is just me wanting to try these out. I didn't think it was going to be that dark, but it was darker. there was nothing for me to swatch with this one as far as like on the shelf, so I couldn't see the shade. And by the outside packaging, it looks a little lighter than the inside, don't you think? To me, I actually like this one better. I feel like it helped with the pores on my nose more than the ColourPop did. But I only use the ColourPop just a little on my nose, so. I've gotten into pressed powders and I used to never like them, but I really like them now. So, not my shade, but I do like the powder. Now I have two. I have a lot, but these are the two that come to mind when I think of favorite bronzers from the drugstore. So I like the Milani Silky Matte because this is a matte bronzer. So as you can tell, it is matte. Love this one. But I also love the Revlon Skin Lights bronzer. But this one is not matte. It has a little bit of a sheen to it. And I really, really like this. So, I don't need a whole lot of bronzer today. I think I am going to take the Revlon one today. But I really love this one. So, I use the shade Sunkissed in 02 in this one. And then the Revlon, I have I have Sunlit Glow. So, I like to just take a big fluffy brush and just kind of put it on the cheeks a bit. The reason I chose this one is going to kind of give me a little bit of a glow. That's what I want today. But if you prefer matte, the Milani's the way to go. I think they're pretty comparable in price too. So one of my favorite blushes in the world is Milani Luminoso. It is just a beautiful, beautiful blush. I love peachy blushes, especially in the summer and spring. Those are like my favorites. So this would be a top recommendation from me. And I've had this for a while. These baked blushes go forever and ever. Since I used the glowy bronzer and the glowy blush, I'm not going to put a highlighter on today. I don't feel like I need it. I feel like I'm pretty glowy. I just don't need it. But if you want to, go for it. I love the Revlon prismatic highlighter. I think I have it right here. I'm sorry, it's the Revlon Skin Lights highlighter. Good thing I pulled this one out in the shade Daybreak Glimmer. This one's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I love the Milani baked highlighters. Dolce Perla is probably my favorite. There's so many good highlighters, really, but this Luminoso blush has that like glow from within kind of look to it, and that's what I like about it. So I don't really feel like I need an extra highlighter, so I'm not going to. I'm just gonna leave it like this. Personally, I like to do my brows because obviously, look, I don't have any. I know some people just don't because they don't feel like they need to, or I feel like I need to. So this is my routine. I like a NYX Micro Brow Pencil in the shade Taupe. Taupe is my favorite. I think I said that weird at first. And then the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen in Taupe. So I love these two in combination, and then I'll show you my favorite brow gel in a second. So what I like to do is I'll take the spoolie on one end. Where did my mirror go? Here it is. I keep losing stuff. And I'll spoolie through the brows. Just kind of get them in place. Then I take the pencil, and what I do with it is I just kind of line underneath. What that does is kind of give you like that look of, I just waxed my eyebrows when you didn't. I love to fake that. Then I take the Lift and Snatch, and I will just take and just flick. I'll just flick that through the brow. And I do it gently. I don't like aggressively go through it. And I kind of start toward the back in case I do get a little heavy-handed. Now see how those little strokes just gave me a brow. Tiny little strokes. So I just have the pencil on the bottom here, but these with the pen. I also like this NYX Thick It Stick It eyebrow gel, or thickening brow mascara. I like that a lot. Or Um, my favorite, this you can get at Walmart. This is the Oma by Sharon C. It's the one and done 2-in-1 brow styler. So on one side you get a pencil, and I don't care for the pencil on this. I just never have. I've tried it a few times and just don't like it. It's a little too waxy for me. But the brow gel, oh my gosh, the brow gel, so good. I use the shade 2. And this keeps my brows in place all day long. They will not move. I love that it has a tiny little spoolie on it. This is so good. So good. And the reason I like that better than the NYX is because the NYX will actually keep it in place as well. There's just a larger spoolie on the NYX. And there's fibers in the NYX, which I don't mind. I actually like, but I just prefer the other because it's got a smaller spoolie, and I just like the formula and everything. So yeah, if I had to choose one, it would be the Oma. Okay, so I love a good brown eyeliner, and this from NYX is amazing. It's the NYX Epic Wear Liner Stick in Deepest Brown, and it's amazing. So good. Love it. Stays in the waterline all day long. I can't ask for anything better. Today I am going to use something a little bit different just because I feel like not everybody wants that deep look to their eyes, and that's okay. So I did pick this up. This is the Essence Extreme Lasting Eye Pencil, and I've used this and I know that it's good. This is in the shade Silky Nude. So you're probably going to be able to see very much, but it is a nude shade for me. And I'm just going to put that in the waterline of my eye. Can you see how much more open this eye looks than this one just by putting that in the waterline? So good. I'm going to take this shade that I used in the crease, Culotta, and you don't have to have another brush, but if you have a smaller brush like this, a tiny little brush, that just helps. And you can kind of just smudge that along that bottom lash line. So pretty. And then my favorite drugstore mascara is the Essence Lash Princess in the green tube. That is the best. So I'm going to put that on. I love the ColourPop BFF lip liner. It's so good. So good. And then I love Juvia's Place. Love it. It's my favorite. So today I think I'm going to put Juvia's Place on. I didn't tell you what shade this was, did I? This is Sweet Nothing. And so it's kind of like a nudie brown. Very beautiful. I like to do just a little bit of a thicker line with it. And I'm pulling out an oldie but a goodie that I've not used in a long time, but this is good. This is real good. So I'm pulling out the e.l.f. Seriously Satin Lipstick in cream. Look how much I've used. That's how much is left. This is a little bit. I'm telling you, it's that good. And what I love about it is it's a satin, so it's not super drying and very beautiful. However, if you want a good lip gloss, let's just go ahead and talk about it, okay? The Maybelline Lifter Gloss, they're so good. And this one is in the shade Sun, so it's a very nice shade. I don't want to put it on. I really like the color of my lips, but it's a very beautiful shade. Just gorgeous is all I can say about it. It's really beautiful. But yeah, these are beautiful glosses. Love them so much. They feel good on the lips. They are nourishing and all the good things. I just like my lip today, so I don't want to put this on. One last thing that I don't always do, but that is very important, is a good setting spray. And this is the Milani Make It Last. It's probably the best from the drugstore. So I'm going to go ahead and put some on. Okay, so here is my full face of drugstore. Hopefully it was very easy to follow along to. I try to keep it very simple. The only thing I think might be a little bit complicated is eyeliner and brows, maybe. I think those are the two things that are going to be a little bit tricky, but I think you do what is most comfortable to you. When I was first like really getting comfortable with my brows, I loved the NYX Fill and Fluff. It's a pomade pencil, and it has like a very unique shape to it. And once I learned how to use it, it took me a little bit to get used to it, but once I learned how to use it, I loved it so much. It was perfect for my brows and as I was learning. So if that's something that might interest you in checking out, definitely check that out, because it was nice and it was easy in the beginning. That and then just a nice little brow gel. So just wanted to throw that out there. But this is it. This is my full face of drugstore. Hopefully very simple for you if you are new or just looking for something, you know, to wear anywhere you want to go this summer on a date night or wherever else you might have planned. So I really like it. It's a very glowy look, and it's very just, I feel like I could just go anywhere. Go to the beach, go have dinner, go do whatever I needed to do. So I love this look. The lipstick is absolutely gorgeous, as always. We know this, don't we? But yeah, everything about this I just absolutely love. So I'm not saying I don't mean to sound conceited, because I'm not saying, oh my god, I love me, I just look beautiful. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I love the makeup, okay? I really am. So I hope it never comes off conceited. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you are staying safe, happy, and healthy. I'm sorry it's been a while since I did a video, but hopefully I'll get a little bit more regular about it, maybe. I'll say maybe. So until we meet again, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Bye guys.